2023 reorganization meeting to order. All members of the board are present. President. Tell where my mind is at. All members of the board are present. Please stand for the pledge. I'd like to welcome one of our new board members to lead us in the pledge. How about you, Trek?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. At this time, we'll go on to number 2, the organization of the Board of Education for 2023-2024. On our agenda, the appointment of Nicole Lotzer for School District Clerk. Should we leave separately?
No, you don't have to.
Can I have a motion to accept 2A and 2B, the appointments of our district clerk and our deputy district clerk?
I'd like to make that motion, please.
Thank you, Ed.
Seconded.
Thank you, Trek. Any discussion? No? All in favor? And can I ask board members to raise their hands because I sometimes can't hear. So, pardon me? Sure. All right, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? No. Any abstentions? All right, passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, now we're going to move on to 2C, the swearing in of Trek Philliter, our newest board member.
You're right, it is a step up. We have power. Maybe next year we'll get it.
I, Trek Philliter,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of board member
the duties of board member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Congratulations, Trek. All right, now we will move on to 2D, the swearing in of Sarah Piowarzak. Trek, there's no turning.
Stay tuned.
I, Sarah Piowarzak,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of board member
the duties of board member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
All right, 2E, the swearing in of Laura Sokol-Scott.
I, Laura Seneca Scott, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of board member according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Laura. Welcome to our board. All right, we will begin now by swearing in Mr. Weistrap as the superintendent of schools.
I, Nancy Beister, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of board superintendent according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. All right, thank you. 2G, the election of the school board president. Is there a nomination for the Board of Education president at this time?
Can I nominate Elizabeth Gates?
You may.
Thank you.
I do accept your nomination. Thank you. Are there any nominations, any other nominations for president of the school board? Okay. Seeing that there are none, nominations are closed at this time. I will take a roll call vote. Please vote yes or no when I call your name. Ed Bediat,
Yes.
Vince Vanderlip,
Yes.
Sarah Piowarzak,
Yes.
Laura Sokol Scott,
Yes.
Trek Fulliter,
Yes.
Molly Dana.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Madam President.
Thank you. All right, according to the vote, myself, Mrs. Gates, is voted as Board of Ed President to serve a one-year term from July 5th, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. Moving on to H, election of the School Board Vice President. Is there a nomination for the Vice President of the Board of Education?
I'd like to nominate Molly Dana.
Thank you, Vince. Do you accept the nomination, Ms. Dana?
I do, thank you.
All right. Are there any nominations at this time? Any other nominations at this time? Okay, seeing that there are none, I will declare nominations closed and take a roll call vote. When I call your name, please vote yes or no. Ed Bedian,
Yes.
Vince Vanderlip,
Yes.
Sarah Piwarzak,
Yes.
Laura Sokol Scott,
Yes.
Trek Fulliter,
Yes.
Molly Dana,
Yes.
Liz Gates, yes. All right, thank you. According to the vote, Molly Dana is Vice President of the Board of Education to serve a one-year term. Thank you. All right, moving on to Agenda Item 3A, the West Senior Mascot. Would Mr. Patrick Smith come to the podium? That one.
Calling your other friends.
And Mr. Brinker? And Mrs.
Oh, I bring a
Falcao
crew.
Doherty.
Yeah, so this has been long awaited. As we know, New York State said any schools with Native American mascots, anything like that need to change. So this was a really fun process. The students loved it. It included every West Side school. So that was our elementary schools, our middle school, and our high school. It opened up with creating a student committee. From there, the student committee met several times, started to get some designs from our student body, from staff, from alumni were helping out. So we got together I believe there were 9 choices. We posted them in every single cafeteria on the west side and opened up voting to students and staff. We had over 2,000 votes, and in the end, the winning mascot with over half the votes was the West Seneca West Warhawks. So this would be our, the W, this would be one of our designs. We have several. We worked with a company, Marissa and I, and they actually created a bunch of alternates from that, and some alumni helped us out with some alternates. So we have the W with the claw going through it and everything else. So this opens up to anything we really want to be able to do with this, but the students, and this was a tough secret to keep because everybody wanted it from me, okay? Everybody wanted to know what it was. The student, just watching, I don't know, if anybody had the opportunity to walk through those cafeterias, I only got to see it on the west side for West Middle and West Senior. Those kids were buzzing. People were standing there. People were like, oh, I know who it's going to be. It's going to be them. It's going to be this. It's gonna be that. So it was just so much fun watching them. And then just to see the outpour of voting just showed that the West Side really cared. Like, they really wanted to have a hand in this next mascot. So I know people have been waiting to see it, and you have the West Seneca West Warhawks.
Thank you.
I just want to thank Mr. Smith for your leadership, Mr. Brinker, Ms. Falcao Doherty. Honestly, this is a pretty involved process, so thank you very much for your leadership with this.
Did you have anything? Did anyone have any discussion or questions? I didn't know if someone had anything. Okay.
Any questions?
Are there any questions for the presenters?
I had one question.
Yeah.
I said one, that's okay, brother. You don't have to sit down, brother. You don't have to, it's not that.
Really, need a
I'm
warm-up.
just curious with so I see the W with the talon going through. That W looks different than our normal W. Do we still have the rights to?
We don't own that W.
I understand.
That's technically, we're keeping that. We own this
Keep
one.
them. Okay, so we're not losing.
No.
Not losing the
No,
W.
No, because that's everywhere.
Yeah, there's a couple companies that won't allow me to order the W that we use, mostly for like hats and stuff, because it is Wisconsin. So we're not changing the W, but with the this company could not use that W to put the talons through. So we asked them to do a W with some talents, kind of do it, but we are not changing
No,
our current
there's
W.
no concern with any other
No.
uniforms that we
No.
have, our
No.
so-called Wisconsin W.
Yes.
When we want to sell stuff with the W on it, we can only do it for 2 weeks, go ahead and close it.
Okay.
This will at least allow us to, PTG can run a fundraiser, and they can put something on the website for a month, 2 months.
Very good.
We still plan on using the W that we're currently using, we're not switching that one out. The only thing we're switching from our end is anything with the Indian, the logo, or the term, or a spear. That's the only thing we're switching out.
These two worked with the designer on everything. The furrow, the beak, the eye, they went back and forth.
We switched an eyeball.
An artist.
We asked them
It
to
was
take
awesome.
eyeball from item number 6 and put that eyeball on item number 5, and it was.
They wanted a W in here hidden. They wanted blue in the eyeball. This is a really detailed, but we own it though. We own this.
Right.
This is all ours. PDFs, we can put on anything.
Sure.
Thank you, yeah, it looks great.
Good.
I like
Nice.
it. Yeah, very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you'd have to get up.
Good point, we just walk away.
Yeah.
We're all gone.
Okay, moving on through the agenda, we are at 4, the appointment of officers. Can I have a motion to accept 4A and 4B? Which would be the appointment of our school district treasurer and claims auditor.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Molly. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Laura seconds. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we're ready for a vote. Just like raise your hands too and say aye or nay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nope. Okay, passes unanimously. Okay, we are now at the public comment section of our agenda, 5A. I just want to read a little blurb out to our community members who would like to speak to the board. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to convene into the public comment period of our meeting. Although state law does not require us to hold a public comment period, we have chosen to do so because we believe it is crucial for us to hear from our community members about their concerns and issues. Having said that, please note that the board is here to listen. The public comment period is not designated to be a discussion. Accordingly, please do not expect the board to respond to your concerns and questions tonight. This is because we take our concerns and questions seriously and want to have sufficient time to process and research ideas if need be. We will, however, respond to your questions and concerns at a future time or have the proper staff member get back to you. I also want to point out that under state and federal privacy laws, we are unable to entertain any comments or questions about school personnel. The board will now entertain public comments for a total allotted time of 20 minutes. Each individual speaker is allotted 3 minutes. All right, is there anybody in the public who would like to address the board? All right, I see one person's name. I'm not sure if they're interested in coming up anymore. Okay. Hi.
Hi, I'm Courtney Fallon. It's my understanding that traditionally this point in the meeting is for new business, but today's agenda is a little unusual and that public comment on items that are not on the agenda is taking place now, or should I wait until later in the meeting?
Generally speaking, you don't want to talk about specific people and name names in a hearing like this.
Yeah, I
They're
don't
not-
know. This is
Yeah.
this is at foreign territory for me.
Yeah, you know what, I
Okay.
think if you have a specific concern, you probably should reach out to the board president, I would say maybe in a phone call or something like that. to have
Would
a
writing be
conversation.
best?
An email would be
Email's
great.
Yeah.
Okay, and I apologize. I'm
Yeah.
scared.
No, I
This is scary.
understand.
Thank you.
We usually don't allow people to name names and then also like talk about their character. That's more private.
Right,
So-
yeah,
so-
this is weird and
Yeah.
unusual territory for me, so I beg your forgiveness and
Okay.
apologize.
No problem,
Thank you.
thank you. Somebody will, actually, Melissa can give you our emails. Melissa Shutra. Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to address the board this evening? Okay. Seeing none, we're going to move on to the next part of the agenda, which is the consent agenda. All right, so may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes agenda items 8 through 11? And I'll give you a minute or so to just look through those sections. Under the consent agenda, we need a second, but we don't have any discussion, just so new board members are aware.
Sorry, did you say 8 through 11?
Oh, did I, well, yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Am I correct? Did something
7 through
change?
11.
Oh, I'm sorry. 7 through 11.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Actually, 11 is not part of the consent agenda. So it's 8 through 10.
7 through 10?
7 through 10. My printout is different than what's on my screen.
Sorry, you were already elected president.
Good job, President.
You can unnominate me. I printed this out at 2:30 and I write my notes and then things change. I should know better. Okay, so I'm
It
looking
is
at,
different at home when you print.
oh, thank you, Molly.
It is different when we print from home than when we print from here, right?
Right, it is slightly, but usually I check it. So let's do this again. May I have a motion to accept the consent agenda, which are item numbers 7, 8, 9, and 10.
I'll make the motion.
All right, Vince makes the motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Trek seconds. There's no discussion on consent agenda items. This is to speed up the process of the board meeting, so I'll just call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Nope. Any abstentions? Okay, passes unanimously. Oh, yes, I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Bystrach. Yes. Congratulations. I'll pass it over to Mr. Bystrach to welcome our new staff members.
So, okay, first and foremost, just again, congratulations to all of our new staff members. I apologize, it's a little hard to hear over here with the fans, so I did, but in some cases, we've had people come up and we kind of talk a little bit about them. We have just so many people here and the temperature is a little on the hot side, but I would just ask that if anyone is newly appointed tonight, would you mind standing up for us? All right. Folks, I
Welcome.
just want to say, I've done quite a bit of interviewing over the past couple of weeks, and I can tell you this is an extremely impressive slate of folks that are going to be joining us here. They're going to bring a lot of new energy and enthusiasm into the district, and I'm looking at all these faces, I remember all of your conversations, and I really enjoyed the conversations. I really think you're going to bring a lot to the district, and just really excited to have you get started with this. So congratulations again.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Just a
Okay.
quick comment with that, we do have
Sure.
some alumni.
We do?
Some West Seneca alumni here that we raised here in this district, and I think it's wonderful that they're returning to pick
Yeah.
up the torch and carry it on.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for supporting our district. Okay, moving on to 11, personnel certified. We will just be voting on 11A. So may I have a motion to approve the creation of these new classified positions?
I'll make a motion for 11A.
Ed makes a motion. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Sarah seconds. Is there any discussion? All right. Mr. Bystrach, would you just give us what these positions are for?
Yeah, happily. So it's 2 elementary teachers. So what we've been looking to do over the past several years is to make sure that our class sizes, particularly in the elementary, are on the lower end of our board guidelines. So about this time of the, really going into the summer, we start monitoring our elementary class sizes at each grade level throughout the district in each building. When we start to see an escalation because of new enrollments, that's when we start to say we hit a tipping point and we start to say, okay, we're hitting a level where we may need to be able to add some. It's better to add now than to do it in the middle of August where you're scrambling trying to find, people have gotten jobs, you have to set up classrooms, order materials and resources and stuff. So We're just trying to be a little bit more planful in making sure that we have the staff that we need going into the school year so that we can have nice-sized classes, so our students have a more personalized educational experience. So there are 2 elementary teachers that we'd like to add here. Forgive me, the buildings are escaping me which particular buildings we saw the increases in, but they are at the elementary level. So,
Thank you for the explanation.
sure.
Okay, seeing that I have a motion and a second, and there's no discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Any abstentions? Nope. Passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, so moving on to appointments, 12. I will give you a moment to go through those, and ideally, we approve all of the appointments, so it would be 12A to 12-8I, unless there is something that someone would like to be voted on separately. Anything? You're good? I will say, I'll give you a moment to look it through, but the clerk pro tem is in there. Any board member can be the clerk pro tem, whoever, it's just appointed on a yearly. That's what Nicole thought it would be a good idea, so if you're not available, we can pass it on to our next
I
person.
take the hint.
He
You
did.
guys don't want me. Trek's all over it, I get it.
He's totally not.
I know. He showed up at my house, just like, we can talk about this?
So that's for later on.
Later, okay.
So, but you are actually our honorary clerk pro tem, so you can keep it.
Again, I'm more than welcome to share the wealth. From what I understand, your knowledge on this stuff is amazing. So if you don't want it this year, I'd love to do it. But everyone here, I did enjoy it.
You did?
And I enjoy you telling me where I'm wrong and how to fix it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I like it.
All
But
right.
again,
If Robert's Rules is near and dear to your heart, you could buy
it's
have that.
it's not as much to me, but if you're interested in it, that's great.
Yeah.
From everything I hear, you're super smart with this stuff.
I think it's the way it's worded is fine, but you can keep it for now.
Okay,
So,
okay, whatever.
unless anyone else, when you're not here, someone else would have to take over, take your
Yeah, when I'm not
little
here.
hat.
Yeah.
All right then. So no one's opposed to 12A through 12I. If everyone's okay with that, may I have a motion to accept 12A through 12I?
I'll make a motion.
Molly makes a motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Laura seconds. Is there any discussion? It's quite a bit of appointments in here, but this is on an annual basis. I feel like they're all the same for the last three orgs meetings.
If we're under discussion, when it comes down to a few of these, do we do, RFPs? Do we put them out every year, or do we just continue relationships with who we have? Like, what's the process in some of these? Let's say the auditors. I'm happy, I'm just asking, is that something that we typically,
We don't do it on a yearly basis, no.
just once
No.
in a while?
Yeah, if we feel the need to, we put out RFPs.
And again, I'm happy with what's on here, I just, for sake of
Right.
questions,
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've never had this much information, it's taken a while to learn it all.
Yeah, it is a bit. It's a lot, so. All right, then we're ready to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Nope. All right, passes unanimously. Okay, so we are under new business, 13. I am going to ask for the approval of 13A through 13C, which would be our residency investigator, our services at athletic events, the police services, and our appointment of impartial hearing officers. So I'll give you a moment to look through those. And can I have a motion to accept 13A through 13C?
I'll make the motion to accept 13A through 13C.
Okay,
Second.
thank you, Trek. Is there any discussion? Can be questions too for our new board members if there was something you were confused about or needed more clarification on.
It was nice to hear from the residency investigator when we had him in.
It was
That was
nice.
nice. Learn more about that. I've been at a lot of events, and man, having those, the west side of the police department there is,
Yes.
first of all, our people are amazing the way they control everything, but just having that little extra presence is great.
It is. We have
And
a
I have
really.
no idea about C, I don't know anything about it.
As far as the hearing officers, are they contracted through BOCES?
No, we're required to have them, they're just, we don't get a choice, there's a rotational list. That's if a student, or if a parent wants to challenge, basically to say that we're not providing appropriate special education services,
Okay.
they can go through a process, and an impartial hearing officer who might live out in Syracuse or something like that, depending, or Albany for that matter, they would be appointed on a rotational list. So the list was earlier in the, just listing who they were earlier in the agenda. They updated periodically for us, like Nicole will get an email saying, new impartial hearing officer, this person's off the list now. So that's not something we really have any say in. It's just, and rarely do we actually get to the impartial hearing phase where they actually get involved. Usually what happens is we go through a resolution process first and come to some sort of agreement. So that's probably a longer answer than you were looking for, but they're just, we don't really have any say. They're like, basically they come through New York State, so,
Through the state then? Okay.
yeah.
Okay, is there any other discussion? No? All right, are we ready to vote then? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Nope. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, now we are going to move on to 14D, Board of Education Liaisons, and 14E, Board of Education Meeting Schedule. Now, in your folders is a tentative Board of Education meeting schedule. However, it will take us a bit of time to go through this, so I was wondering, I'm open to your suggestions, if you wouldn't mind tabling the liaison positions and the Board of Education calendar, and we can talk about it under board discussion. So this is, we need you guys to open up your calendars and make sure these dates work with you, and then the liaison positions are probably new to you. You know, there's ECASB requires a few of us to sit on committees, and New York State School Board does as well. So I wanted to give you some time to like read through those and ask questions instead of making you assign yourself to a liaison position now. So I felt like it was a bit overwhelming to do. Like when, like next year you'll know, you'll be like, all right, I'm good, I'll take this one or this one, but this first year is a bit
I
much.
think that's a wise decision, given last year I kind of overbooked myself just a tad.
I think we all do.
You're ambitious to do different things and can contribute, but
Yes. All right, thank you. I'm glad that
I
that's
just want to guess confusion. What are you asking us to do? Table it until later in the meeting or a different day?
we can talk about it during board discussion
Okay.
if there's time. But otherwise, yes, I would table it until our next meeting.
So you'd like a motion to table D and E?
I would like a motion to table D and E.
I'll make a motion to table D and E.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Trek. Any discussion?
yeah, my only concern with the tabling of the Board of Education meeting, I understand why we would do it, but I think it's important to get that meeting scheduled out as soon as possible so that other
Okay.
entities within the district can schedule. Because no longer should we be having events
Yes,
the same night as school board meetings.
right.
Yeah.
Those should be blacked out from any concerts or any other events.
Okay,
We found out last month what happens
right,
when it's not. So
right.
I'll make my plea to please work toward avoiding conflict
Okay.
between events, particularly board meetings,
Mm-hmm.
when we have all these parents that are now serving on the board
Very true.
that are going to have to make a decision between doing their duty as a trustee or doing their duty as a parent.
Yep.
Can we set the tabling down for a specific date?
I would
Yeah.
suggest by July 18th, actually. I have that on there as a tentative work session.
Okay.
So July 18th. Melissa, do you have any
Well, that was
suggestions?
my question was, should I ask to table it for a certain date, or just when I say table it, does that mean it's just tabled till whenever?
You can update the motion.
Yeah, you
We
can
can
update.
update the motion to include the
Okay.
July 18th date.
Let's ask Melissa.
Melissa,
It's best to get your date set as soon as you can.
Yeah.
can,
It really is.
all right. Can we do it during board discussion and then vote on it?
We go back to it.
You want to go back to it?
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just skip it for now.
Yes, let's skip it.
Okay, so.
I think we're just moving it to later in the agenda. I'm not even sure that's really tabling it, it's just saying, yeah.
Yeah, I'll rescind my motion.
Okay, rescind your motion.
You could make the motion to table,
D
the.
instead of E.
Yeah, I think that's what you were getting at. That's the tough one.
Yeah, I don't even know what liaisons, we might want to, who knows? I
Okay,
mean,
let's redo the tabling.
Okay, I'll rescind that first one.
Rescind the first one, and
Table D.
we're going to table D.
I'll make a
So-
motion to table D until July 18th,
Right.
to be determined.
Can I have a second?
Second.
And any discussion? Good? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That passes unanimously. Then we will move on to the Board of Education meeting schedule, and we will go through the dates primarily. And then we can talk about the presentation topics and the presenters afterwards.
Your board meeting dates?
Yes.
That's the most important.
Okay.
Yeah, we can pick dates and then work on presenters at a later date, can't we?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, so please pull out the Board of Education presentation calendar and your own personal calendar.
I was gonna see how many.
All right, so we are at the July 5th reorg meeting tonight. I was hoping for a work session in 2 weeks, not even, July 18th. Is everyone available on July 18th for a work session?
Yeah. Does anybody happen to know when the Super Bowl parade is going to be?
No.
Well, not in 2 weeks,
Not
so I
yet,
think we're good.
Vince. Yeah.
Probably not on Tuesday, right?
All right. August 1st for our board meeting date,
I apologize, I don't mean to interrupt. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 5:30,
6 p.m.
6:30, 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
And that's a work session?
That would be a work session.
And what was the next date? I apologize.
August 1st?
First, got it.
So generally, I reserve the first and third Tuesday of the month for tentative board meetings, tentative work sessions. So if you wanted to look at your calendar, that's what you'll see. Does that work for everyone, August 1st? Okay. August 22nd, a work session. September 5th, this can get busy because I believe, when does school start?
7.
7?
6 for me, 7 for West Seneca.
Okay.
I can't make the August 22nd one, but that's okay.
Okay, all right. Just so you know, work sessions are not mandatory because generally we're just doing work and we hope to not have an agenda where we have to vote on very important things.
I'm just thinking about the usual second one, in case there's any last minute.
That's true for August, so I would need
I was
4 to 5 people there. Molly is unavailable on August 22nd, but the
I
rest
am.
of you are?
August 22nd, yep.
Okay. Actually, where is my calendar? 1 second while I look, for some reason, my calendar isn't loading here. Okay, September 5th is okay as a board meeting? Yes? Okay, September 19th I have as a tentative work session.
And
Yeah.
I just throwing this out there, because this gets overwhelming quick. Nicole is great enough to send us an actual electronic invite. I don't know, like, that's the best part.
Yes,
What's that?
We're still getting our electronic invites.
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh, yeah.
inputting anything in my calendar right now.
Yep.
right.
And I do appreciate that, Nicole. She's probably watching, right?
Okay, so October 3rd. Okay, October 24th, work session. These are tentative. Work sessions, can be, don't be overwhelmed by how many we have. November 7th, regular board meeting? Go
I would
ahead.
recommend that we move the November 7th meeting.
Okay.
As it is election day.
Okay,
So before we plan something at 6 o'clock on election day,
It's also my husband's birthday, so it'd be nice if I didn't have to.
that's more important.
No, I agree, election day would be
We
nice
had
to go
one
out.
before, didn't we?
We did.
Because I ran
think we
out
did.
of here.
We have done them before on
make it.
election day.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why do you think that would be a conflict? Because we have done them before. Is it just to,
I think it's a civic duty to vote,
Okay.
and it's hard enough with work schedules, parent schedules, trying to find time to do that, and adding in a board meeting
okay,
right in the middle of the busiest time is not
Right.
conducive to that.
okay. Is everyone okay with
I
that?
support
I am.
that.
I am in support of that as well.
I like working my local poll.
So then we can move it to the 14th and then not have a work session in November. So November 14th. No work session in November. That is Thanksgiving holiday. Okay, December 5th would be the next month. This is when we start with our budget calendar. These are important meetings to attend. December 5th is okay with everyone?
Yes.
Okay. I did not schedule a work session in December. It's too busy for everyone. January 2nd would be the next board meeting. Good. January 23rd, a tentative work session. Okay. Is everyone caught up?
Yes.
Okay. February 6th, regular board meeting. I did not schedule a work session for February because that is when we are supposed to do our board self-evaluation and kind of have discussion. So we could possibly do like another retreat if we needed it. So March 5th would be the next board meeting. March 19th is required as a budget work session. I think it's required. We're supposed to have a work session, yes, in March. Yeah. So March 5th, regular board, March 19th, budget work session. April 9th. And April 16th. Is April 9th okay for everyone? Okay. April 16th is a required board meeting because we have to do the mandatory Erie 1 BOCES vote. So that one we have to come in and vote for. So April 16th. May 7th would be the next board meeting. Good, okay. May 21st is the annual budget vote and school board election. We all just come to the end usually of that, and, you know, it's a board meeting, but somebody opens it in the morning. We don't have to be there. We come in later to see the results and vote. May 24th I have as a tentative work session.
Me?
I know, I must have that wrong. May 21st. Sorry. Typo.
I'm not holding a work session, we're not holding a work session the same day as the election, are we?
No. Ooh, I do have that on the wrong day. All right. Let's scratch that one for now. Let's scratch the May work session. We'll add one back if we need it.
Nicole checked, the 21st is the budget vote.
It is the budget vote, yeah.
Was it the 14th maybe that you wanted to do?
Maybe. It would be that or the 28th. Let's leave May open now. May is crazy, right? We
Yeah.
call May Maycember with all the activities, so.
I am so sorry. April 9th, I'm out of town. That is the last day that I will be in Jamaica. So
Okay,
How dare you?
that's my other wedding. So there's really not a way I can fly back.
okay. Trek, that is okay if you are out of town and in this board meeting? As long as we have, 4 or 5 board members here, no problem. You're in Jamaica.
I'll FaceTime in, I'll FaceTime Ed and we'll put it on.
All right, June 4th, 2024. That will be our retiree recognition, our ASAP graduates, and I set a social gathering for 5 p.m. and then so that we can just spend some time with them, you know, they can you can introduce the graduates.
Yeah, I'm more than willing to discuss this later, but I
Sure.
don't want to participate in it. It was the same as the last couple of years. I think we've done an amazing job of changing it to
Okay.
what it improvements, but I need time afterward or before to meet these people and talk to them, and
Yeah.
I don't like jumping right into a meeting.
Well, that's why I put a social
Yeah,
gathering
no, I
at
appreciate that. I just
5.
didn't know, I didn't know if we we're gonna do it after or before.
And then we were going to have, I was hoping to have the board meeting at 6:30 PM or 7 PM.
I support that,
Yeah,
yes.
to give us time to recognize them, then, you know, have some cake with them.
That means a lot, thank you.
Yeah, sure. July 18th, June 18th would be the work session only if needed. And then our next reorg meeting would be, I think we should schedule it now. Would be, most of you will all be board members next year. Molly and I are the only ones up for reelection. So you could do July 2nd, or you could do July 9th. So I'd just like to hear your thoughts on that. July 2nd is the week of, you know, Independence Day.
No. 9th?
Yes,
I prefer
Ninth would
9.
be better.
yeah.
I always have family in town
Yeah.
currently.
Is that okay with
That works for
everyone?
me.
Okay, July
Right.
9th it is,
School
2024.
literally goes to the end of June next year. The
Oh, it
29th
does.
is the
It
last
does.
day of school. So,
Whose fault is that?
Is there anything you need from me, Melissa, or did you get it all?
BOCES.
No, I got it all.
I have one-
I think you and Nicole thank you. I know she does because she's all done.
You're welcome.
I have one to go back to if we could,
I was
possibly.
gonna go, what, pardon me?
If we could go back to the first date.
Oh, you wanna go
I
back?
was just checking everything, and
Sure.
August 1st, I am out of town.
Out of town?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if the following week is possible.
All right, so are other board members available on August 1st? Just to make sure we would have a majority, otherwise, let's look, hold on a second. Okay. Do you want me to see if August 8th works for our board members?
If it does, yeah, it'd be great.
Okay.
But if not, I understand.
I'm good with either.
Are you good with either? Are you good with either?
Wait, we're talking this August?
Yep. August 1st to move it to August 8th.
Yeah, I'll be out of town, August 8th.
Okay.
Molly's more important than I am, so.
Pardon me?
Molly's more important than I am. So
Okay.
you'll be all right on August 1st without me.
All right. Trek, are you available?
I am,
August 1st and August 8th?
as of right now, yes.
Okay. All right, we will keep it as August 1st, Vince.
All right,
Thank you.
I'll dial it on. I'll call in.
Call in. We can
Zoom
video
me in.
stream you in. Sure. All right, thank you so much. Thanks for helping me through that, Melissa. I thought we could do it later and then vote on it, but I know.
No, and I thought it was your presentation when you sent it today. I hadn't seen
Yes.
it was actually your board meeting.
Yes.
So this is good.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for, you know, being patient with me. Okay, so where were we? Nope. Okay, F. So, may I have a motion? Oh,
Can we vote?
oh, yes.
You can adopt that.
We have to, yes, we have to vote.
Meeting
We
schedule.
actually,
We did discussion.
We did discussion.
technically, we should have done discussion after we made the motion, right?
Yes.
Okay.
May a motion to accept the Board of Education calendar for 2023-2024. Who makes the motion?
I'll make the motion to
Sarah.
accept it.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Laura seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks,
Vince
passes.
gets swiped.
What was that?
Laura swiped it.
Okay. Now we are moving on to 13F and 13G. I'd like to do them together. If we can, actually. Yes. Let's do those two together. So 13A, F and G. May I have a motion to accept 13, F and G?
I'll make a motion.
Molly motions. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Sarah seconds. Is there any discussion? Okay. These, These are memberships we have been a part of for several years. They're very, very helpful to the board. They offer a lot of services and webinars and support, and so we've used them tremendously. As you know, NISBA did our retreat. They're great, so. Do you have any questions about them? No, we do pay a yearly fee to them, so nothing is free.
I'm going to make a point of taking better advantage of the things that they do offer because they offer a great deal
Yes.
and
Especially when you're new.
helpful.
They're really nice.
And they.
Do we have a breakdown for this total? Or is this just the total cost of the membership?
It is on your board agenda. So the ECASB is 9,000 and New York State School Boards is 11,000.
Right, I'm just asking you, do we have a breakdown of what goes into that total, or is that
Oh.
just the membership total cost?
I do not know because I've never received an invoice from them. It doesn't come to the board.
I bet you
So-
we can find it.
I bet you, I'm sure we could ask for it.
We can demand it.
It's a good question.
I don't understand I can't
What's
hear
the
it.
breakdown of the services they
right,
provide that
okay.
cover, that cost us $11,000?
Thanks, Ed, it's the first time I've ever been called quiet.
Yes. Sorry.
We could ask for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's something, is this, if it's just total
Yeah.
membership
But I
cost,
can't
that's
hear
what it is.
Right.
Right,
So-
that's true. That's true.
The question was just what the breakdown for the 9,000 and the 11,724, what those breakdowns were, if they're just the total membership cost, or are those broken down anywhere?
Trek, I don't think they break down, I don't think they piecemeal it out, but I think you could find at the website, we can work on getting that, but it would actually say, this is what the service is, this is what it entitles you to. Like, NISBA's great because you can pick up the phone and call an attorney there if you need to, if you had a question about something, or you can just call you. There's a number of people that so it's also a good advocacy arm too. I mean, there's a lot of benefits, but it's a good question. I don't think they break it down piecemeal, though. I think it's either you're in or you're out for that price, so.
Okay.
And that's why it's really nice to use them, because we are paying this yearly fee, And I have spoken to attorneys there. I had a question about, I think, a Robert's Rules question, and they called me right away, on a holiday, actually. So, okay. Is there any other discussion on these two?
No, is there any other discussion on these two? Yes, just as a thing, I remember when we went back to the state one, was it you and Molly did a really nice job of describing why the services were useful and everything? So I think that was 2 years ago. So if you check out the board meeting from 2 years ago at this time, there's a really great conversation about their services, which I was against it until they presented about it, and I really like us being part of it.
Yeah, they do training for the officer positions. They'll train, the board officers, the president, vice president, and they have excellent services, so. Okay, any other discussion? No? All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? Nope, all right, passes unanimously. Okay, so we are going to go through now 13H through 13T, the West Senior Mascot. H through 13T. Okay. May I have a motion to accept 13H through 13T? Would anyone like me to break it up in a different way? Or do you want a moment to look it over?
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Molly. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Finn seconds. Thank you. Is there any discussion?
What is it, it's 13H
The school lunch budget
through T?
through the
13T.
West Senior Mascot.
Couple of discussions on my side here. One,
Sure.
I love the donations. So again, thank you, Scroy Wealth Advisory Group. Appreciate that very much.
Yep.
Next question I have is e-senior trip. That would be like a sanctioned
Yes.
These are all
school
sanctioned.
trip? So that's different than the other ones that I discussed in the...
Yeah, this, if they're on this agenda, they're board approved and all the rules and regulations, our code of conduct, everything is in effect if we're approving these.
I mean, I figured, yes. And I see the dates are for next year, or 1 year from now, so which allows them to do whatever they're doing.
There's like fundraising
Yeah.
and things like
Yep.
parents, they have to make decisions if they, if they want the kids to go, they have parent meetings, and like I said, fundraising could be a big part of it too, so.
Okay, just want to be clear, and, because I know I've had some questions about other trips, and,
Yep.
No, good
that.
question, Ed. Actually, Molly and I asked the same question during the agenda meeting.
Oh, cool.
Exact same question, so,
Excellent.
good question. Sorry I didn't convey that actually to you.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah.
I kind of knew the answer, I just wanted it out there.
Double check.
Because
Yes.
people call me about a couple things, so.
Same. All right, is there any other discussion on these agenda items?
Disposition of buses, last thing. Disposition means we're taking them off the road to use for kids,
Yeah.
the kids to use them.
We're-
Are these, or is disposition the ones that we sell? Or get rid of? or
We're disposing
donate,
of
or-
them, yeah, I mean, like basically you scrap them, you get like $500 for a bus or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Last time I think we donated a bus to like a fire company
Yes.
that does training with it. In some cases, we'll repurpose a bus, like a mini bus for like a buildings and grounds vehicle because we've had a shortage and difficulty getting vehicles, so, but basically the DOT can say they're not, after about 10 years, usually they're not good for transporting kids anymore, but they're still perfectly drivable vehicles in many cases, so that's why we found other uses for them. So.
And I'm just, this would also be like the ones that we're hanging signs on?
Yep.
That sort of thing? Like
Yep.
they're, okay, just, again, I didn't know if disposition meant we were getting rid of them, or if we were just not using them for
Disposing,
kids.
yeah, well, I mean, it's basically taking them off the road, and I would say disposition would mean they're separating from the district, is
Okay.
what they're doing, so it generally speaking means that we're just scrapping them.
Okay.
So.
So there's other buses that we may not use for kids that we
Yeah.
use for this other stuff?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. That's
Okay.
it.
Is there any other discussion? No? Okay, then, we're ready to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Nope. All right, passes unanimously. Okay, we are moving on to 13U, the contract for benchmark education. We'll have some discussion on this, but I need a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Okay, may I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Sarah seconds. All right, is there any discussion? I just wanted to, if I could open up discussion. This was on the agenda last time, and I had to leave early. And one of our board members had surgery, so she couldn't be there. And then another board member had to leave early because she has a husband who is ill. So there were only 4 board members there, so I just didn't feel like there was a full representation of the board. So that's why this is back on the agenda this month. And are there any questions from new board members about this contract? And I believe that is Carol Bush here?
Carol and Carm are both
Oh,
here, if you'd like,
yes.
they'd be happy to come up and answer any questions that you have. They've
Yeah.
worked pretty closely with it, so, is there
Yeah.
interest, are there
If
questions?
if there's any questions for them, they would probably be the better people to ask, because I can only speak from a board member's perspective, that I feel like the process was very thorough, and this is what we actually hired Mrs. Bush to do, and so I support her in this decision and in this choice. I thought it was a very thought out, well-planned process, and a lot of hours went into it, and, you hope for the best, right? You always hope for the best, so. Does anyone else have anything that they want to share, or?
Yeah, my question came down to, why would we go all in without piloting the program? So I think that, and I've gotten that answer privately, and I know that it's been answered. I think, I would just like for everybody to understand why we're not piloting it. I think that people need to understand that within the community, parents, staff. It is a big price tag.
Yeah.
And I think if there's a better understanding, clear understanding amongst my constituents, then I would feel much better about my vote. So an explanation tonight in public would be helpful.
Okay. What do you think, Matt?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the big picture, just to Liz's point, I think it was a pretty thorough process, pretty thorough conversation. They looked at, I think, 7 to 9 different products. They did a lot of side-by-side comparisons to kind of come to that conclusion. Some of the concerns with piloting at this point, I think if we hadn't done as thorough of an investigation, I'd probably be sitting right next to you on this, Vince. But some of the concerns would be that if we did it like at a grade level or at a couple of buildings or something like that, then we're going to have some disparities throughout the district. I think our folks, our teachers, our educators, our principals are at this point very much saying we need to have something, we need a consistent basically curriculum that we have across the district. This includes resources and materials. If we don't, we're going to have to go out and get materials and more resources for the buildings that are the non-pilot buildings too. That's just something for everyone to keep in mind as well. This would enable a more consistent, I guess, application of our curriculum throughout the district. Something else to keep in mind too, in the big picture as well, is that it is a big price tag, I get that, but when you look at compared to what we'd have to go out and purchase in terms of other materials for some of the other programs that were lacking, even assessments and things like that, you're probably talking comparable costs, to be quite honest with you. It's a very inclusive curriculum. So, and people literally broke it down like line item, like there was another one they looked at, and they literally had T-charts where they said, they looked at different areas of functioning within the curriculum, and they said, Benchmark has this one has this, but they'd have to supplement it with, 1 or 2 other things in many cases. We just felt it was the most comprehensive and complete curricular offering that we came up with, so.
Words like thorough are kind of general. Like, what does that mean? It was a thorough, like, what does that mean exactly?
You know what, we have people over here that were directly involved in the process. Carol and Karen, would you guys want to come on up and maybe speak to that, just to the specifics of the process a little bit? They're closer to the action.
Vince, can you just once again repeat what you were referring to when you
It's
say
loud in
thorough?
here.
So no, the question was regards to why not pilot, and because there's been such a thorough, I guess, process, there's no need to vet, or no need to pilot. So I'm curious as what does thorough mean? By thorough, what is meant by that?
Yeah, I will.
What did we do to have this so we're
Sure.
so ready? Because I know you ladies are like really behind it. So I think it's just helpful for people to understand why. Why are we jumping in? What makes us so sure this is the right thing?
Right. I think Carol probably can speak to that best, but I can say that we have had a variety of resources and curricular materials that have been implemented inconsistently across the district, and we've had a couple of vendors who have come in, and also our own people, through interviews that Carol has done with them when she was here, speaking to those same things. And so with that, because Carol was new, she did implement a process that we both discussed that would have all voices or representatives from all voices across K-5 about what is it that we need with the curriculum. And so due to that, and due to Carol being new, she felt like we have to look at everything that's out there. So she took feedback from people, and she led a process. We had representatives, I believe 3 from each building. We had administrators who were part of the process, myself, Jackie, our assistant superintendent of exceptional education, and they took a really fine look at all of these things. And what was missing in most of these programs was that assessment piece. And I know that we are big on the data, and we need to know what data is telling us about our curriculum and our instruction. And so not having an assessment piece in all of these other programs, we can't just make an assessment and know that it is viable and that it is research-based like Benchmark has. And so if you're going to start from scratch and need to develop assessments, you need to know how to write an assessment. You need to know what kind of questions to include in that assessment. And this takes all of the guesswork out, and it levels the playing field for everybody. This is something that we need for all students. We felt strongly about the pilot in that we want all of our kids to benefit from good, solid instruction that we're giving no matter where you are, in the east side or the west side, in K-1 in this building, and K-1 versus that building. We want equitable opportunities for all of our kids, and our staff feedback has been they want and need support and resources for them because we have been deficient in some ways for a period of time now. and we don't want to leave kids behind.
Well, I agree that consistency across the board is important. You mentioned inconsistency. What was the root cause of the inconsistency? And what's to say that there will be consistency implementing benchmark?
Yeah, we actually had a meeting with all of our elementary principals, Carol, myself, and we talked about the expectation district-wide, that while not everybody 100% has one thing that everybody was sold on wholeheartedly, we all came to consensus that this was what we were going to get behind and support, from myself to Carol to the building principals to the teachers. And our building principals know that that is the expectation, and our teachers are looking for that as well.
Are they receiving training as well, the administrators, so they know what to look for?
Yes, they are. There's actually a beautiful professional learning calendar that Carol put together. We really are looking hopefully to get that going, because the longer we do potentially hold that off, the further behind we get in that training for our teachers. Want to add anything else?
Yeah, so when we talk about thorough, everything that Matt said, I second. Everything that Carm said, I second. Basically, when we talk about thorough, it was the representation that was on the committee. We had many people, 3 to 5 people from each elementary school, but what was even more important than that is that it wasn't just classroom teachers. We had primary teachers, we had intermediate teachers, but we had reading teachers, we had ENL teachers, we had special ed teachers, we had administrators, we had representation from everybody, because all of those pockets are in need of materials. So what is happening right now, they have a curriculum that some are using, some are not. It's kind of hit or miss depending on where you go, what building, what grade, all of that. And what we heard loud and clear is it's very hard for me to go into this grade level and they're doing this, and then I got to come up with materials to supplement that grade level, and then I go into this grade level and they're doing something totally different, and I got to find materials to supplement that. And the reason why benchmark really stood out to so many people on that committee is because that supplementing piece would be gone. It would be to the point where reading teachers have materials that match what's happening in the classroom. ENL teachers have materials that match what's happening in the classroom. Special ed, CT teachers, they have those materials. So it really ties in everything. So that's where the thorough piece comes in. Okay. So when we talk about piloting, all of the reasons that were already discussed are true, but there's also another huge piece to that puzzle that was talked about at length. When we're talking about something as huge as an ELA program that has 3 main components, phonics, reading, and writing, in 1 year's time, you are not going to know everything about that program. It's going to take you a good 3 years to get solid with your understanding of all of those different components. So if we took a couple different grade levels and we gave them the materials, at the end of 1 year, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm completely overwhelmed, but I like it. It's good. Like, that first year is going to be tough. It's going to be a huge lift. We're going to do it together, but we need to do it. We have to move forward so that they have those materials. So part of that piloting piece, we didn't have anything to pilot it against. So usually when you're piloting, it's because you're trying to make a decision between 2 resources, but we had really come to consensus before that piece. The other thing I offered was a soft launch, which is what we're talking about here, where a couple grade levels would do it. The committee was not interested. So everything that you were concerned about, I was concerned about. And I brought those things up to the committee, and we spoke about them at length. So I was not surprised at any of your concerns or any of your fears or anything that you mentioned at the last board meeting, because I had a lot of the same fears. But after working with the teachers and after working with the principals, and once we sat down, and it was Carm, myself, and the 5 elementary principals, and we said, hey, this is it. Like, we're doing this and we're doing it together. We're going to do this as a team. And the other big important piece to remember is that we are going to honor our teachers' voices. So as we go through this process, we will be coming back to debrief what worked well, what didn't, what do we need to adjust, what can we keep just the way that it is. We're going to have all of that dialogue as the year goes on. So 1 year, it wouldn't be enough. And we're in such dire need of resources right now. We said, let's rip the Band-Aid off and do it. We're going for it. And I'm confident. I know we can do it. I absolutely do. And so many people are excited. For the first time since I've been here, there's energy with the teachers. Like, it's incredible. It's wonderful. So I hope that I answered your questions. I gave you that information.
You definitely have. And I want to say that I appreciate, the passion that both of you have brought to this, and I appreciate the process. My concern from the get-go is not necessarily about the product, but the implementation.
Yeah.
And the price tag of the investment. Because if the implementation is not consistent across the board, and it is not done, and people are held accountable for doing it, we're going to waste money, and we're going to waste another opportunity. So
Valid concern.
everything you've said, that you have a plan in place to make sure that it's implemented with fidelity, and people are going to be trained, and there's going to be a learning curve and all that. So I'm good. Those are really the things that I think not only me as a board member need to know, I think the public needs to know that this is an investment that is going to be implemented as thoroughly as, as it's been.
And, I just want to comment on one thing you said about the product piece. I have found in my role as a PD specialist, when I was going in and out of a lot of different schools, it's much less about the product that you're using than about the willingness of your faculty to use it.
Oh, yeah.
And that is what we currently have. That consensus that came from the teachers, it doesn't mean every single teacher is in love with
right,
it. I'm
right.
never going to get 100%.
Right.
But there is such a push from the teachers for this resource. That's what you need for that first step to get into the learning and growing with a new curriculum. So it's...
And what you
it's
also
gonna be
said about
powerful.
honoring teacher feedback is they're going to find things because they're masters at their craft, and they're going to go,
Absolutely.
this really doesn't work here, we need to move this around a little bit, without losing
Yep.
what the program is really designed to be.
I mean, really, teachers were doing that already. The problem was they were all doing it individually.
Right.
So now we'll do it as
Okay.
a team.
All right.
Are there any other
I
board
just wanna-
members? Yes.
I just want to follow up on a question, or Vince's question and something that you said. So the evaluation process is 3 years. Can you go into a little bit about what the process of evaluation for the program looks like? If you're saying a 3-year timeline, what do we count this as a success in 3 years? Do we have criteria that you're looking at when you go, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off, we're going to go with it for 3 years? Because I think that's part of Vince's question is, if we're going to implement, we're going to go whole hog, totally fine. Where do you call this a success in 3 years?
You want to go? Yeah, well, I would say we have, when kids are reading and writing at a higher rate, when there is growth. And so there are provisions within this program with their assessments and the data we're getting from that. We are doing iReady, so we'll have that. Those two things alongside one another will help us to measure student growth. And I think that our first year going in, as Carol referred to or made mention of, is that it's really going to be our baseline. So from there, you need a whole nother year to see how you've grown from that. And I think that over time, with these consistent procedures in place and having the conversations as part of our curriculum review cycle, because that doesn't go away just because now we've all agreed upon a program, we have to measure the fidelity of that program and see, are our standards still the same? Are our kids performing where we want them to be? Is that curriculum being implemented with fidelity? That cycle keeps the conversation going and keeps our finger on the pulse of what reading and writing looks like in our district. And so really looking at student performance and getting feedback from our teachers through the cycle is really going to go hand in hand.
I think that as a board, we, share with us the results, either good or bad.
Absolutely.
I think, we're here to support you, either way, so I would be.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
Our data-days are, just for your information, our data-days coming up for next school year for K-5 teachers will all be focused around student data and iReady, what we're gleaning from that assessment piece. So we will have real-time data to take a look at and share with you.
Great, and then maybe mid-year, it could be part of a presentation or something, yeah. So, yeah, thank you. Anyone else? No? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other discussion? I think we're good. All right? Okay, are we ready to vote then? We have a motion,
Yeah, Ed made a motion.
and then Sarah
And Sarah
seconded.
seconded.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. All right, passes unanimously. Anyone opposed? Nope, passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. All right. 14, designations. So, Have you all had time to look through these, or would you like me to break them up? These are our designations for the year, our school attorneys, our asbestos designees, chief emergency officers. Ideally, I'd like to vote on these all together as a lump sum, 14A through 14R. I will obviously give you some time to look through them, so may I have a motion to accept all of 14A through R?
I'll make them, no, go ahead.
You second then, Laura.
That sounds good.
Okay, Laura seconds, Ed makes the motion. And I'll give you a few moments to look at it and, feel free to ask questions if there's any discussion. Just kind of give me a nod when you're like, good. You're just staring, so I know. I know you well enough, I have to know when you're ready. Let's give our new ones, I don't want to rush you through it, it's a big agenda, and so.
I read through it.
Okay, good, I'm glad.
It's interesting stuff.
It is so interesting when and then you'll see it next year, and you'll be like, oh, I remember that. All right, is there any discussion on these items? Nope. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
I,
Vince, I didn't hear you.
Aye, sorry.
All right. Anyone opposed? No? I'm gonna mark you down as opposed, Vince. It passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, our last thing is authorizations. So 15, ideally, I get a motion for 15A through 15D. Anyone would like to make a motion?
You want to second it?
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to accept 15A through 15D.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Ed seconds. Is there any discussion?
I got something.
Sure.
This is where the credit cards fall under, right?
Mm-hmm. This is,
I've never touched my board credit card. I don't know if at some point the board wants to revisit whether we need them or not. My guess is in the past, the board did a lot more traveling than we do now, and there's a lot of other ways of like needing to pay. This is my guess, but I believe the last trip I took, I was given gas allowance or whatever ahead of time. So like, I'm more than comfortable not having a credit card in my name, but I also know the auditors prefer the less credit cards, the better. So I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. Has anyone else here ever touched the board credit card?
no.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
My understanding is we all have credit cards.
no, I actually think we did for the NYSIBA
Yeah,
retreat, but we didn't use it.
They use them to book your hotels
Yeah,
and things
like,
like
but we
that.
didn't use
Nicole,
it.
like I have a
okay.
credit card too, to be honest with you, I've never seen it before. I don't know what it looks like
So maybe
either,
Nicole needs
No,
them.
I haven't. You guys won't tell me where it is.
So does Nicole need them for,
There's a limit on all
yeah,
of
like
them
$2,500
combined.
bucks?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need the limits to be able to book.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you definitely want to have access to it, just the district have access if there's a conference or something you want to be booked for, so.
I do not see, oh, there they are, yes. I was, it
Sure.
is
All
on
right,
there.
well,
It's on
if
the
Nicole
25
needs them for booking purposes.
Yeah,
then-
her life would be very difficult. Some places won't take like a purchase order or something like that. You need to be able to
Right.
pay directly for something, so.
Okay.
Okay.
We just won't give you yours, Ed.
Yeah, no, you don't want to.
Okay, so our internal authorizations are the same as last year, I believe. Yes. Okay. Any other discussion? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I hear you now.
I was reading ahead.
You don't want to do the hand raising? You just look right at me?
I'm intuitive, I can't help it.
All right.
I'll do one.
Sorry, passes 6-0. I mean 7-0. Passes unanimously. Yeah, okay.
Passes 6.
All right. I know. Me. You lost me. All right, 17. So we don't have informational We don't usually have to approve those. We actually don't have to, those are informational
There is
documents.
one more item that we need to take care of because
Okay.
I'm working between two agendas. I need to swear in the two of you as president and vice
Okay.
president.
So we have to redo the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay? So,
Sorry,
just
folks,
so you know,
somebody's
we
gotta come
don't
back.
approve the financial reports. They're just given to the board. So,
Okay.
all right, right here.
Right hand. I, Elizabeth Gates. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of New York. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of board president. According to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Molly Damon. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of New York. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of board vice president. Vice president. According to the best of my ability. Just quickly.
Okay, we're good on time.
So my,
Very good, thank you.
the other board I'm on, we have buttons we have to press to talk.
Oh,
So I
nice.
know when people are gonna make a motion or not.
That's nice. We should get those. All right, thank you, Melissa. All right, we are on Board of Ed discussion number 17. At this time, I open the floor to any board member who would like to have public discussion. Please wait to be recognized by the president before speaking. Please do not interrupt any board member who has the floor. So thank you, and if anybody has anything, just, motion that you have something you'd just like to discuss. Good? Nope. Anything? Okay. I have one thing. I would just ask of you to go up back into our agenda and look at the Board of Education liaison appointments. Erie County Association of School Boards has a delegate assembly, a budget and finance committee, and a legislative team. So we usually appoint one person and then an alternate. They have meetings once a month, not even sometimes. The Budget and Finance Committee, I think, meets 3 times a year. And then the New York State Association of School Boards has a voting delegate where all of the school districts that are a part of New York State School Boards submit resolutions that that NISBA will support and try to pass through legislation. So you actually go through all the resolutions that you want New York State School Boards to support and try to advocate for. So it's a pretty interesting process seeing school districts throughout New York State, what they're passionate about. There was one last year that said all school boards should get paid stipends. That one failed unanimously. So there were several of them. A lot of them were, related to like political issues. They never passed. So it was a really interesting process. It's very long. Molly did it once. I did it last year. So, and we as a school district can write a resolution and ask New York State School Boards to lobby, on our behalf. I think the one district asked for help with the child victim cases. Yes, because one district in particular got slammed with Child Victim Act cases, and, they can't pay, so New York State School Boards advocates for them, so it's really nice. I mean, hopefully we can get more involved in that part of being a school board member, legislation. So it's very, they listen to us. They do care to hear from us, especially when they want to be reelected into their terms. So is there anything else, Board of Ed discussion-wise? Anyone? We can talk about those and maybe set them up at our July 18th meeting. And then we also have committees that our board has. We have a policy committee, I'm just realizing we need to create like a visitation committee. So there will be a couple of new committees this year that hopefully up to 3 board members can sit on. And so we'll talk more about that at July 18th.
We're gonna talk about the different committees we have in mind and stuff like that on that meeting? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So just anything beforehand, email to you,
Yes.
leadership, ideas?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll pull in the ones that we had last year. I'll talk to Mr. Bystrek about the ones that are getting, they're getting rid of or they're combining, but we're talking about board sanctioned committees. That's basically what we're going to talk about. And if Mr. Bystrek has committees or district offices, those are different. They usually ask.
Will we have a list of those committees at the work session?
Yes.
Yeah, and those came out too already, I think, unless that was just to us.
Not sure.
Yeah, I took a look at them.
Well,
Because there were a
state
couple.
mandated committees you're
State
talking
mandated,
about?
Yes,
yeah, you
yes.
saw that
Yeah,
one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Liz just sent that out,
And
but then we have in-house
Yeah.
committees.
And then it's important to
that we
know the
sit on.
dates of our Erie County ones too, because I signed up for that last year, the legislative committee, and basketball games
Same
every
night.
night.
Okay,
So,
I'm off of that one.
did he?
Yes. They give us the dates in
eliminates
advance,
us.
You
but
mean
they're
I could
usually
have been
Thursdays.
at a legislative meeting
They're
instead of those
usually Thursday
basketball
nights.
games?
Okay, if there's no other,
Go Warhawks.
there's no other board discussion. Is there any other board discussion? No, just making sure. Okay, then, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to move into executive session for the following reasons. For matters relating to collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service Law, for matters relating to the employment history of a particular individual, and to consult with our legal counsel. I have a motion to go into executive.
I'll make that motion.
Vince, may I have a second?
Second.
Trek seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. All right, at this time, we are done with Board of Education voting, so we will not reconvene. We will just close. We will adjourn after executive session. Thank you for coming, everyone.
Congrats to all of our appointees.
Yeah. They took off.